Welcome.
Get away from me!
If you want anything. Think I got a clean mug around here somewhere.
To the gods, we are nothing more than...
I enjoy this work well enough, but I'm ready to retire. I've been thinking of selling me into Isolda. Anyway, what do you need?
What have you got for sale?
Let's sate that appetite, hmm? Need anything? Just let me know.
Lucky for you, that was just sitting there for the taking.
Watch it!
That spell looks like it'll hurt.
Good to see Skyrim still has such fine people. You give an old man hope.
Follow me. I need your help.
Lead the way then. I'll follow along behind.
Ah, you return.
You're back.
Follow me.
Excellent.
Well met.
That spell looks like it'll hurt.
What can I do for you, friend?
I've been tending to the warriors at your basket.
Skjor says that I have the strength.
Yes?
Huh? Hey!
Talos the unerring, Talos the unassailable. To you we give praise.
Mister, could you spare a coin?
Ah,
Isolde, was it? What brings you to the market?
I'm here to buy food, Lizzie. I suppose you don't need to worry.
Can I help you?
You see those warriors from Hammerfell? They've got curved swords. Curved swords.
Oh, no, you don't. Did you hear something?
Never should have come here.
down so
Just stand still!
I've got some fight left in me.
Die already so I can take a staff!
I may be old, but I can run. I won't go down so easily. Is someone there? Come on! What was that? I may be old, but I can run. Excellent work.
So we're just supposed to sit here while Arvid runs off with that golden claw?
That dark elf wants to go on ahead, let him. Better than us, risking our neck.
Is someone there?
thief. Bye. If the reader has not yet had the pleasure of reading the first volume in these series on the life of Eslaf Errol, beggar he should close this book immediately, for I shan't recap. I will tell you this much, gentle reader. When we last saw Eslaf, he was a boy, an orphan, a failed beggar, running through the wild winter woods of Skyrim, away from his home of Erolgard. He continued running, stopping here and there, for many more years, until he was a young man. Eslaf discovered that among the ways of getting food, asking for it was the most troublesome. Far easier was finding it in the wilderness, or taking it from unguarded market stalls. The only thing worse than begging to get food was begging for the opportunity to work for the money to buy it. That seemed needlessly complicated. No, as far as Eslaf was concerned, he was best off being a scavenger, a beggar, and a thief. He committed his first act of thievery shortly after leaving Erolgard, while in the southern woods of Tambaka in the rugged land near Mount Jensen just east of the village of Horbeld. Eslaf was starving, having not eaten anything but a rather scrawny raw squirrel in 4 days, and he smelled meat cooking and then found the smoke. A band of minstrel bards was making camp. He watched them from the bushes as they cooked, and joked, and flirted, and sang. He could have asked them for some food, but so many others had refused him before. Instead, he rushed out, grabbed a piece of meat from the fire, and wincing from the burns, scrambled up the nearest tree to devour it while the bards stood under him and laughed. "What is your next move, thief?" giggled a fair, red-headed woman who was covered with tattoos. "How do you intend to disappear without us catching and punishing you?" As the hunger subsided, Eslaf realized she was right. The only way to get out of the tree without falling in their midst was to take the branch down to where it hung over a creek. It was a drop off a cliff of about 50 feet. That seemed like the wisest strategy, so Eslaf began crawling in that direction. "You do know how to fall, boy," called out a young Khajiit, but a few years older than Eslaf, thin but muscular, graceful in his slightest movements. "If you don't, you should just climb down here and take what's coming to you. It's idiotic to break your neck, when we'd just give you some bruises and send you on your way." "Of course I know how to fall," Eslaf called back, but he didn't. He just thought the trick of falling was to have nothing underneath you, and let nature take its course. But 50 feet up, when you're looking down, is enough to give anyone pause. "I'm sorry to doubt your abilities, Master Thief," said the Khajiit, grinning. "Obviously you know to fall feet first with your body straight but loose to avoid cracking like an egg. It seems you are destined to escape us." Eslaf wisely followed the Khajiit's hints, and leapt into the river, falling without much grace but without hurting himself. In the years that followed, he had to make several more drops from even greater heights, usually after a theft, sometimes without water beneath him, and he improved the basic technique. When he arrived in the western town of Jallenheim on the morning of his 21st birthday, it didn't take him long to find out who was the richest person, most deserving of being burgled. An impregnable palace in a park near the center of town was owned by a mysterious young man named Suoibed. Eslaf wasted no time in finding the palace and watching it. A fortified palace, he had come to learn, was like a person, with quirks and habits beneath its hard shell. It was not an old place, evidently whatever money this Suoibed had come into was fairly recent. It was regularly patrolled by guards, implying that the rich man was fearful of being burgled, with good reason. The most distinctive feature of the palace was its tower, rising 100 feet above the stone walls, doubtless giving the occupant a good defensive view. Eslaf guessed that if Suoibed was as paranoid as he guessed him to be, the tower would also provide a view of the palace storehouse. The rich man would want to keep an eye on his fortune. That meant that the loot couldn't be directly beneath the tower, but somewhere in the courtyard within the walls. The light in the tower shone all night long, so Eslaf boldly decided that the best time to burgle was by the light of day, when Suoibed must sleep. That would be the time the guards would least expect a thief to pounce. And so, when the noon sun was shining over the palace, Eslaf quickly scaled the wall near the front gate and waited, hidden in the crenellations. The interior courtyard was plain and desolate, with few places to hide, but he saw that there were 2 wells. One the guards used from time to time to draw up water and slake their thirst, but Eslaf noticed that guards would pass by the other well, never using it. He waited until the guards were distracted, just for a second, by the arrival of a merchant in a wagon, bearing goods for the palace. While they were searching his wagon, Eslaf leapt, elegantly, feet first, from the wall into the well. It was not a particularly soft landing for, as Eslaf had guessed, the well was not full of water, but gold. Still, he knew how to roll after a fall, and he didn't hurt himself. In the dank subterranean storehouse, he stuffed his pockets with gold and was about to go to the door which he assumed would lead to the tower when he noticed a gem the size of an apple, worth more than all the gold that was left. Eslaf found room for it down his pants. The door did indeed lead to the tower, and Eslaf followed its curving stairwell up, walking quietly but quickly. At the top, he found the master of the palace's private quarters, ornate and cold, with invaluable artwork and decorative swords and shields on the walls. Eslaf assumed the snoring lump under the sheets was Suoibid, but he didn't investigate too closely. He crept to the windows and looked out. It was going to be a difficult fall, for certs. He needed to jump from the tower, past the walls, and hit the tree on the other side. The tree branches would hurt, but they would break his fall, and there was a pile of hay he had left under the tree to prevent further injury. Eslaf was about to leap when the occupant of the room woke up with a start, yelling, "My gem!" Eslaf and stared at him for a second, wide-eyed. They looked alike. Not surprising, since they were brothers. Eslaf Errol's story is continued in the book Warrior.
Someone coming. Is that you, Hotnir? Bjorn! Soling! I know I ran ahead with the claw, but I need help. You! Over here! It's coming loose. I can feel it. You fool. Why should I share the treasure with anyone?
Is someone there? Over here!
My fingers are trembling. The golden claw is finally in my hands, and with it, the power of the ancient Nordic heroes. That fool Lucan Valorous had no idea that his favorite store decoration was actually the key to Bleak Falls Barrow. Now I just need to get to the Hall of Stories and unlock the door. The legend says there is a test that the Nords put in place to keep the unworthy away, but that when you have the golden claw, the solution is in the palm of your hands.
What was that? Found it! I've got something. Now that's how it's done. Be careful. Come on! I may be old, but I can put up a fight. Remarkable, isn't it?
A new hand touches the beacon. Listen, hear me and obey. A foul darkness has seeped into my temple. A darkness that you will destroy. Return my beacon to Mount Kilcreath, and I will make you the instrument of my cleansing light.
What can I do for you, friend?
Everything's in order.
Show those thieves not to steal from Luke and Valerius.
I have the golden claw.
You found it! There it is! Strange. It seems smaller than I remember. Funny thing, huh? I'm gonna put this back where it belongs. I'll never forget this. You've done a great thing for me and my sister. Why, you little filcher! Get away from me!
You have committed crimes against Skyrim and her people. What say you in your defense?
You caught me. I'll pay off my bounty.
Smart man. Now come along with us. We'll take any stolen goods and you'll be free to go. After you pay the fine, of course.
You see? The terminology is clearly First Era or even earlier. I'm convinced this is a copy of a much older text. Perhaps dating to just after the Dragon War. If so, I could use this to cross-reference the names with other later texts.
Good.
Ah, the Dragon Stone of Bleak Falls Barrow. Seems you are a cut above the usual brutes the Jarl sends my way.
I got you the Dragon Stone. What next?
That is where your job ends and mine begins. The work of the mind, sadly undervalued in Skyrim. My associate here will be pleased to see your handiwork. She discovered its location by means she has so far declined to share with me. So your information was correct after all. And we have our friend here to thank for recovering it for us.
You went into Bleak Falls Barrow and got that? Nice work. Just send me a copy when you've deciphered it.
Farengar, you need to come at once.
Leave me alone.
A dragon's been sighted nearby. You should come too.
A dragon? How exciting.